Hey, my name is Seth. I'm going into my third year at Princeton University and I study economics there. And this summer I completed an internship at the Central Bank of Armenia. Couldn't have done it without the help of Step Beyond Borders. And essentially I worked with two other interns on a project on central bank digital currencies, which culminated with a discussion-like session with the board and executive committee of the bank. This really allowed me to learn a ton about how central banks operate, while also diving into a topic that I was really passionate about beforehand. So this experience, it's really been nothing short of fantastic. I met so many impressive people, built lifelong relationships, also enjoying my time in Dilijan, which is a small town located just north of Yerevan, which is the capital. And I also spent most of my time in Dilijan just because it was the building I worked in, but I did try to make my way down to Yerevan when possible. Step Beyond Borders took me on several fun trips, my favorite being a trip to Etchmiadzin, which is essentially the Armenian Apostolic Church's equivalent to the Vatican for the Roman Catholic Church. I got to see a ton of beautiful architecture, and I was also lucky enough to briefly come in contact with the head of the church. He was just walking by, so that was super exciting. And additionally, Rosie John was here to help and guide me in ARC. So, and ARC was the other Princeton student that was in Armenia. So I really appreciated having her throughout the internship. And my stay in both Dilijan and Yerevan was also great. Armenia definitely gets brownie points over mainland Europe when it comes to air conditioning. So I couldn't have been happier with that. And if I had to describe Armenia in my own words, I would say it's really just extremely unique. For some context, I grew up predominantly overseas, and I usually pick up on a lot of cultural similarities wherever I go. But Armenia really felt so different from anywhere else I had been prior, even Georgia, just north of Armenia. And the people are extremely friendly. The scenery is totally beautiful. And the barbecue, which makes up most of their local cuisine, is pretty delicious. Throughout the internship, I saw and did so many cool things, but my best memory might just be from when I stood at the border crossing between Armenia and Georgia for about 2+ hours at midnight. It was hot, sweaty, packed, kind of miserable at first, but in hindsight, I met some pretty great people. Armenians, had some fun talks while standing in line on the way back, and you always form the best memories when you least expect it. So to me, that was a super authentic moment. And going into this internship, I had pretty limited conversational experience with the Russian language, which is the second most spoken language in Armenia. And then as you get further out from Yerevan, people tend to speak less and less English, but I wouldn't let this discourage any hopeful travelers from visiting this place. Everyone here is always willing to help you. I was shocked, honestly, on countless occasions at how willing random people were to help me no matter the time or cost. So, huge bonus. And my advice to any future interns thinking about working in Armenia, whether or not they decide to work at the CBA, would be to approach the experience with an open mind, be ready to sit through some crazy taxi rides, but also take every chance to connect with the people around you, because those spontaneous conversations and shared moments are really going to shape your time here into something unforgettable. I really hope this video was informative. Thanks for watching.